Well, we start here this afternoon. After delays and an adjournment in December, the ANC is resuming its 55th National Conference today. The party is committed to finalizing all its work before its 111th birthday celebrations on Sunday in Mangaung. Earlier, they held a media briefing on what is to be expected in the upcoming days in Bloemfontein. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandle Goge was there and he joins me now for those details. Siphamandle Goge, as always, a pleasure to speak to you. Colleague, very good afternoon. Let's talk a little bit about some of those plans, obviously, ahead of number one, January 8, but also some of those deliberations, obviously, with the completion of the policy or of the conference in this regard.
Indeed. So in December, when the ANC convened its 55th National Conference, which they adjourned to today, they only dealt with the most important aspect of the conference, which is to elect leadership. But that is not the most important aspect. What matters the most when it comes to the ANC is the issue of policy discussions, proposals and resolutions. They did not have enough time for commissions to deal with that. And many people said, well, that decision or that trend continued if you take into account that a number of ANC conferences, be it regional, provincial and national, have, over the past few years failed to successfully have enough time set aside for commissions. They discuss policy issues, and that's why they had to adjourn this conference, because after delays in December, their conference was far behind schedule in terms of time. There were delays with registration, technical glitches that were marred by load shedding at some point. So all of that led to the 55th National Conference in December being delayed. And those delays meant that they could not conclude the business of the conference. And the most important aspect, which is the commissions that would look into the issue of policy proposals, be it issues of the economy, energy, stability, peace and stability, international relations, socio-economic challenges. All of those commissions did not have enough time. So as the conference has resumed today, they are busy deliberating on those commissions. The president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, was addressing the conference, which takes a form of a hybrid setup. There are members of the NEC who are physically present in Bloemfontein. The officials of the ANC are physically present in Bloemfontein. Members of the interim provincial committee of the ANC in the Free State are also connecting in Bloemfontein. There are other centers in various provinces across the country where delegates are connecting from. So the NEC and the officials are physically present in Bloemfontein. So after that, they will continue with those deliberations. The conference, according to the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Siphamandle, is set down for today and tomorrow. He says they will be working throughout the night to ensure that come early hours of the morning tomorrow, they are able to announce on their declarations, which will be delivered by the Secretary General, and the resolutions, and the conference will be officially closed by the president of the ANC. But this conference takes place at a time whereby there is uncertainty over the looming or possible cabinet reshuffle. It emanates from the fact that the deputy president of the ANC, Paul Mashatile, who was elected in December, is not part of the executive that is deployed to government. And David Mabuza did not make it back. He's the president, or rather, he's the deputy president of the Republic of South Africa. There are those within the ANC who are saying it's always preferable to have the president of the ANC and the deputy president of the ANC deployed to government. There are other NEC members or former NEC members who did not come back to make it back to the NEC, and some of them are cabinet ministers. Hence, these calls are growing that there will be a cabinet reshuffle that is imminent. And also, Fikile Mbalula himself is going to resign as the transport minister because he has to be full-time at Luthuli House. There's that position of vacancy created by the departure of Ayanda Dlodlo. All of those will take in a form of this cabinet reshuffle taking place. We did ask Mr. Mbalula about the discussions that are taking place regarding the issue of the deputy president of the ANC and the country, but most importantly, this pending cabinet reshuffle. This is how he responded. Let's take a listen.
to that bite a little bit later on, whilst the team gathers to get it together. But really, when you're speaking here about the imminent sort of changes that are anticipated from a governance perspective, perhaps the biggest criticism of the African National Congress is the fact that some of these policies that get adopted, that some of these resolutions that get made, we just never see the fruition, the implementation of them, especially translated into government, right? So we are expecting the president, as per always, to deliver his January 8th statement, but nothing has been heard over the past few years that has been different. We've still been fighting gender-based violence and femicide, still been articulated by the African National Congress. You're talking about peace and stability. I believe that even with the policy conference of the ANC that happened a little bit earlier last year, we saw that the issue around our borders, border controls, safely, how to deal with illegal foreign nationals in the country was never something that was too much top of the agenda for the ANC, which makes you wonder how then some of these adopted resolutions will start translating into governance and actual decisiveness being made and being done on behalf of government.
Nothing much will happen, even for the ANC's 111 birthday celebrations. It's just celebrations. It's the ANC celebrating its birthday. After the January 8th statement, nothing will change. The January 8th statement and the history is derived from the fact that the statement is drafted by the National Executive Committee of the ANC, read out by the president of the governing party. When the ANC was still pushing for the struggle, they would use the January 8th statement to give out marching orders to the foot soldiers to say, this is the program of action for the entire year that is starting. This is what we intend to do. This is how we intend to do it. And this is how we envisage to achieve whatever we want to achieve. Now, with the ANC being a governing party, whatever they discuss, it's important, and the conference resolutions are important because you need to separate the issue of the conference and the resolutions, and also January 8th statement, which is delivered by the president of the ANC on behalf of the NEC. Basically, he will be giving out, or he will be giving marching orders to foot soldiers of the ANC to say, this year, this is what we intend to do. We are celebrating 111 years. This is what we have achieved over the past century. These are the successes. These are the challenges. And this is how we need to renew and unite the party. That statement on Sunday will focus around the renewal and unity of the ANC. Other than that, there will be nothing much. It will be a rehash of previous January 8 statements of the ANC. When it comes to the resolutions of the governing party, they always go for their national policy conference, and then before the national conference, which, the National Policy Conference will take place around June, and in December they go for their national conference, and that's when they will adopt all the proposals, policy proposals that would have been discussed during the policy conference, and then will add or amend, review, and then adopt new resolutions to say on the issue of the economy, this is what we resolve. For instance, this conference is taking place at a time, or it resumes at a time whereby Eskom is implementing stage 3 load shedding across South Africa. The issue of energy featured strongly during December, and it will continue to feature here. I'm sure that commission that will be dealing with energy and state-owned entities would have focused on Eskom. The issue of sluggish economic growth, violent crime. South Africa is one of the countries with the high rate of violent crime in the world. Many people die in South Africa every day. People are not safe in South Africa. And you talk about the issue of women, gender-based violence and femicide. Women are under threat in South Africa. They are being killed by men in this country, and they are not being protected. So all those things are resolutions that the ANC would need to resolve on, but pass it on to those deployed in government to implement. Will there be a change after this conference of the ANC? Will they be able to implement their own resolutions? Well, history has not been kind to them when it comes to implementation, so we'll have to wait and see.